What's happening, everybody? Come on in. Come on, gather yourselves. What up, though? Speak to me as you come in. Speak to me as you come in. Let me know where you are logging in from. Let's go. Let's go. We have our YouTube, we have our app, we have Facebook, and we're working on getting Instagram. Everyone, come on in the room. Speak to me as you come in. What's happening? What's happening? I have someone very, very important that you guys need to meet tonight. What's happening, everyone? What up? Speak to me as you come in and let me know where you are logging in from. That I need to know where you're logging in from. All right. And let me get as many of you all to share. There you go. Come on in. What's happening? We got Virginia. Come on. Let's go. We got Jamaica. What up? Texas is in the building. Columbus, Ohio is here. Let me get as many of you all to share. There we go. Somebody tell me I'm on the Amtrak train. Good. They have good Wi-Fi. Atlanta, Houston, Texas. What's happening? What's happening? Dallas, I'm praying for Texas. Texas, y'all got some issues. I'm really praying for y'all. You red states. Queens, New York. What's happening? Jacksonville, Florida. So guys, I am a person who is key about bringing the right people in front of you. And if I can get the right people in front of you and expose you to people and information, your entire life can change. What up, Renee? Things can change for you. And I am excited tonight to have a young lady that we're going to talk to tonight, who is key in this world. I call her a baller, a shot caller. I call her the miracle worker. And I am going to bring her up because I want to put her in front of many of you. I'm excited also that she's going to be a part of the Pastors and Leaders One conference. There's a scripture that I want to bring out, and it says, my people perish for what? For lack of knowledge. And if you can just hear the right person at the right time, it'll blow your mind how your life might change. So tonight, I'm excited to introduce a young lady to you by the name of Nona Jones. Let's bring her up. Nona Jones. This is an amazing woman of God. Those of y'all that are on here, can you speak to her? Hello? Can you speak to Nona Jones? Nona, Nona Jones. She's an innovator. She's an author. She's a speaker. And she's a survivor. Why is survivor on your thing?
You know, I first of all, Pastor, thank you so much for having me. This is an honor to be here. I have people ask me to describe myself, and I tend to just use 5 words. I'm a statistically improbable product of grace. I was raised in a very dysfunctional home. I experienced physical, verbal, sexual abuse, all of it. Was not raised in a Christian home, didn't know anything about Jesus, God, hope, anything. Tried to take my life twice at the age of 9 and 11. And right after my second suicide attempt, a friend invited me to church where the pastor preached out of Psalms 68. He said, God is a father to the fatherless. And those are the words I needed to hear. And that's what placed me on my trajectory to learn more about Jesus. So I am truly a survivor.
You are truly a survivor. Let's just talk. So you were born and raised in what part of the U.S.?
So I was born in East Orange, New Jersey, but I do not claim East Orange, New Jersey when people say, where are you from? Because I was raised in Jacksonville, Florida. And the moment I say East Orange, New Jersey, somebody's like, I'm from East Orange. What part? And I'm like, I don't know. That's as far as I go. So Jacksonville, Florida's home. I heard some Jacksonville, Florida people on here. So hey fam, Duval.
I'm going to just talk a little bit about you and how I ended up with you. I can honestly say that your present position that God has graced you with, I think is amazing. Can you tell us your present position right now?
Sure. So in my day job, I serve as the head of global faith partnerships for Facebook, which essentially means that my team supports houses of worship, communities of faith, pastors, people of faith all around the world to make sure that Facebook is meeting their needs and to make sure that they understand how to use Facebook, in my view, to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Did you say all over the world?
Yes. Yeah. All over the world. So it's a global scope.
And in your department, how many people are in your department?
Oh my gosh, we're growing. I think right now, well, we've got about 25, 30. No,
Really?
Yeah, it's probably more than that because we're still hiring, but about 25 or 30.
So I'm always amazed at how people end up getting certain positions. And when I think when it comes to us as believers, those positions are divine callings and divine connections. So tell us, how was God divinely involved in getting you to this position?
So listen, I can tell you, people ask me all the time, how did you end up in that role at Facebook? The answer is God. Like there's no other explanation because long story short, I was in a job that I loved right before this, thought I would be in it for the rest of my life. And it was April of 2017. And I was in prayer about that role, asking God for wisdom. And I heard the Spirit say, this assignment is over. And it shocked me because that was not what I was expecting to hear. And so I prayed a few days later and I heard it again. And so I just said, all right, well, if this assignment is over, Lord, what should I do next? The only thing he said was to resign at the end of the fiscal year. And that was June 30th, 2017. So fast forward 2 months, June 30th comes, it's a Friday. I met with my boss at 1:00 p.m., gave her my letter of resignation. And of course, in the meeting, she's like, well, what are you going to do next? Because I need to tell the board.
Right.
I was a very high level role. She said, I need to tell the board. And I was like, I'll tell you soon. I didn't know. And so we finished talking at 2:00, about 1:40. I'm sorry, it's 1:40. I got in my car and I was driving home. 2:05, my cell phone rang and it was a San Francisco area code 650. And I was not going to answer it because it just said San Francisco, California. But the Spirit told me to take the call. And so I answered it. And the woman on the other line said, hi, is this Nona Jones? And I said, yes. And she said, hi, I'm calling from Facebook. And I was like, Facebook doesn't call people. Who is this?
Right.
And she was like, no, really, I'm calling from Facebook. And she proceeded to tell me that apparently the week before she called, Mark changed the mission of the whole company to focus on community building. And at the time, he was atheist and he was surprised because there was some research done. He learned that the largest community in the world that was the most meaningful to the people who were in it was the faith community. And so he said, okay, well, we as a company are going to need to focus on this if this is our mission. And somebody who was in the meeting happened to say, I think I know the perfect person to do this. But
so
I don't
your name was just brought up.
But he said, I don't think we can get her to leave her job because she
Come
loves
on.
And what he didn't know is he told me the timeline. Literally the same week that he had the meeting with Mark was the week that God told me to resign. And so 25 minutes after I resigned from my job in faith, Facebook called me. And 2 weeks later on my birthday, I had my offer letter. And the thing to tell you that's crazy is when they asked, well, what would it take to get you to come? I gave them a number that was outrageous just because I was like, I don't think this is going to work. And they came back higher. So when I say,
come on,
it's a God thing. I am not exaggerating. I am only where I am because God put me here. And I know that.
Wow. So one of the things that we ask you to do at the conference is do something called rebranding. But let's talk about your brand. One of the things that I love about you is that you love to share information. When I say share information, you have already written 2 books. And can you give us the name of those books and what was your reason for writing those books?
Oh, sure. Well, so I wrote and released 2 books last year. Success from the Inside Out is my memoir. That's the first book I released last January 2020. The reason why I wrote that book is because the Lord has really blessed me. I've been in executive roles since I was 23 years old across public, private, nonprofit sectors. And I think a lot of people look at that. I've been on, Essence 40 Under 40 and all these different lists. And people look at that and they're just like, wow, I want that. But a lot of times they walk into the successful chapter that your life is on and they just assume that's the whole story.
Come on.
And so I wrote the book because I needed people to understand that I had a deep struggle because of the abuse and the dysfunction of my childhood. I had a big struggle And frankly, the reason why I was so successful is because I was being fueled by my brokenness. And
Wow.
so I wanted to give people my learnings on how to heal through faith in God so that you can have good success. Joshua 1:8, I love the verse when God is telling Joshua what he needs to do in order to successfully lead the children of Israel in the promised land. He says, follow my ways and you will have good success. And that statement made me think, well, if he's saying you can have good success, then there must be a success that is not good. And so I wrote the book for that purpose. The second book is called From Social Media to Social Ministry. And I wrote it back in 2018 because I wanted to give the church a guide for digital discipleship. How to actually.
I want to put something here though, but you've been doing ministry since the age of 17, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I've been licensed and into ministry since I was 17. So it was not new. This is just marrying the worlds together. But I wanted the church to really have a resource guide and a blueprint for how to do ministry in the digital age, not just how to have a church program, but how to disciple people digitally. And that's very different.
Wow. Wow. So these two books are out. So in building your brand, you have the book, you have the company that you work for, and then speaking also.
Yeah. So I speak across. I mean, I'm a preacher, so I'm constantly sharing the gospel. Oftentimes, I'm traveling internationally. I've spoken on almost all continents around leadership, the intersection of leadership and culture and faith. Because I think too many times people compartmentalize their life. Right. It's like I have a work self, I have a church self, and it's like, no, God doesn't want us to compartmentalize. He wants us to live an integrated life, but we have to learn how to do that. So like people at Facebook, they know I'm a preacher. They know that my husband and I pastor a church together. That's not something I hide. As a matter of fact, that's part of who I am.
Wow. So I want you to talk to some people right now because the pandemic threw a lot of people off.
Yeah.
And they had to, some people just completely disconnected. Some people went and sat on the side and said, I'll wait until this is over. And a year later, it's still not over.
Yeah.
What would you say to the person to get them to come out of their corner and get back in the race to do what God literally has called them to do?
You know, I believe that our God is the kind of God who is true to his word. And so, you know, we all know Romans 8:28, but I think the last year has been really an exercise in faith because he said he'll work all things together for our good. But the problem is he can't work something together for your good if you're not even in the position for it to be good. So if you kind of take yourself off the market and out of the game, God is like, well, I can't work it together because you're not in place. And so I would encourage people that if you have checked out mentally, emotionally, if you have felt like, you know, this year has just so derailed what I thought it was going to be, I would encourage you to get back in position, get back in place. Our God, I was just in LA and I was preaching out of 1 Samuel. I was at Shepherd's Grove Church. I was preaching out of 1 Samuel 13, I think it starts at verse 19 through 14 and 6. I encourage you to read this because a synopsis is this. There was a situation where Israel was, you know, preparing to fight against the Philistines. The problem is Israel didn't have any weapons because the Philistines had basically eliminated blacksmiths from the Israelites. So the Philistines, they kind of assembled to go to war with like 6,000 chariots and all these soldiers. Israel had 600 soldiers and no weapons. And the spoiler alert is they were still victorious. And I say that because one thing Jonathan said, I think it was in 1 Samuel 14 and 6, he said, nothing can hinder the Lord from saving, whether by many or by few. And I think this last year was really an exercise in that. Right. This has been a wonderful year for many people. It's been a challenging year for others. But do not take yourself off the battlefield because nothing can hinder the Lord from saving, whether by many or by few.
Wow. I'm just really blown away how you have been there for the body of Christ during this pandemic. And I know that the requests even shot up higher with the faith-based getting on Facebook. So your faith-based, your requests, your demands shot up higher. And I know that was a pressure point under a lot of times because I even had to reach out to you. Okay.
Oh
I
boy.
was putting on your assistant nurse. I felt like I was on punishment.
No.
And I knew I wasn't the only one. So my question that I want you to really address, Nona, is a person in that seat. How I'm gonna do it. First, I'm gonna do the pressure of the seat.
Yeah.
The pressure of the seat. And for there, many of you all that are listening right now, there is pressure that goes with that seat.
Yeah.
There is pressure that goes with that seat. So now I'm going to deal with the pressure. I'm not going to hold you long. And then I want to deal with the balance of that seat. Because here you are in that position. Here you are a wife. Here you are a mother. Here you are a pastor. Here you are an event. That's a lot. No.
Yeah.
So let's deal with the pressure first. What do you say to a person that God is giving you a seat, but then there's a lot of squeezing? There's a lot of pressure that goes with that seat.
Oh, I love this question, Pastor Hannah. So, yes, there is pressure that comes with the seat, but there's also grace. And this is why I always tell people, do not force the promise, because you will create Ishmaels where God wants to create Isaacs. If you force yourself into a role that God has not graced you for, you will feel the pressure and you will crumble under the pressure. But when you are graced for it, when God puts you there, He will give you the grace for it. So for me, I don't feel pressure. I feel responsibility.
That's good.
I feel responsibility to the body of Christ. And that is why when pastors reach out to me, I try to be as responsive as I can. You know, I can't do everything, but I do as much as I can, because
you can walk on water. You can walk on water, Nona. You can walk. You can turn water into wine, Nona.
No, I just listen. I want, and God told me this, because for the longest time, to be so honest with you, I didn't know why I was in this position. I've met people in my years in this role who have been doing, you know, church tech and communications their whole life. And my first foray was when I stepped into this role. And so I prayed and I said, Lord, why did you put me here? I'm not qualified. God said, that's why I put you here. Because you cannot take credit for the good that I do through you. And He knew that my heart is to honor Him. So I want to make the name of Jesus great. I want to equip the church. I want to support pastors. I'm not here trying to make a name for myself. I'm in awe of what God has done in my life. And I give all glory to Him. So it's not pressure, it's responsibility. It's a mantle. Like I look at it like, all right, God put me here to be a vessel. And so the reality is,
your background with nothing with this position.
No, the only thing that had to do anything with this is that I've been in ministry. That's it. That's it. I mean, I'm in awe. And so that's why I say I walk with humility, because I know that God can take me down at any moment. I'm here because the grace of God has put me here. So when people meet me, they're always like, I thought you was going to be bougie and stuck up. And I'm like, how could I be? God put me here. I didn't put myself here.
I love it. I love it. All right. The second thing I want to do with is the balance of it all.
Yeah.
And I want every person to listen to me. This is why I wanted her to be a part of this one conference. It's not just for pastors, it's for leaders, it's for business owners, it's for mothers, it's for fathers, it's for those of y'all that have to wear multiple hats. And how do you rebrand or not get stuck in one area? And if I thought if there was anyone that could help us, especially the millennials, the young adults, you guys really need a person like Nona to speak into your lives and to show you what you need to do. I call her, with some of you all, she is your John the Baptist. She goes ahead of you.
Oh, Lord.
She cleared the way. And now she's beckoning for you. Now come this way. But you can't get it on your own. You have to be in the right place at the right time. Even those that are listening right now, this is such divine timing that we are here on a Friday night, locked in, listening to this. So how do you balance all of this? And what do you say to a person that feels as if the balance of it? You got to be a mother. You have to be a wife. You have to go to work. You have to do ministry. And then the question becomes, then what do I give up?
Yeah, I think that's such.
And what I find amazing, sometimes some people, the first thing that you let go is your divine assignment.
Oh no. Oh Lord.
I'll let you talk about the balance of this.
Yeah. So yes, I definitely have many roles, and what I try to do is I try to be very intentional about where my time and my energy is going, and making sure that I'm really clear about what has God called me to in this season. What I have found is that when I start to feel off balance, it's because I have put something on my plate that I'm not graced for, and then I have to say, okay, what was the intention? What was the motivation about that? So as an example, during COVID, like everybody, their mom and daddy and uncle and third cousin was doing podcasts. And so I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do a podcast too. And I forgot that I had this global role and this global team, and the church was imploding. And so here I am trying to put a podcast together. I didn't have time for that. And so I did it, and I got overwhelmed and stressed. And the Lord said to me, Nona, you're stressed because I didn't grace you for that. This is not the season for that. And so there's a book I would recommend. I read it at least once a year. It's called Essentialism by a man named Greg McKeown. I'm an avid reader. I read a book a week. I love reading. But this one book I read every year, and it talks about ruthless prioritization, making sure that you're not just kind of dividing your time across a bunch of stuff, but being clear about what is your priority in any given moment. And I guard my calendar. Like my calendar, every like minute of my calendar it has a name, because that's how I organize my life. But that's how I balance, is just being clear about what I'm graced for in the season, and then giving every minute of my day a name, so that I'm clear on what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay. All right. So guys, I want to do this for you. I want to give you an opportunity to register, and we're going to give a discount. If Nona blessed you today, her name alone is worth a discount to get in to be a part of this. She is literally going to be a part of this conference, and the code word is Nona 10, because she's on 10. Nona 10. I need you to go to pastorsOneconference.com. pastorsOneconference.com. If you go there, the dates of it are the 19th and the 20th. It's going to be physical. It's going to be virtual. What I love about it this year, Nona is literally going to be in the building with us.
Pastor, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I am so grateful for the invitation to come, and I'm going to tell you why. It has been amazing. I have spoken about the intersection of church and technology, at so many conferences, like thousands and thousands of people, but it's always predominantly white organizations that invite me. So I've spoken at Assemblies of God, United Methodist Church, the Church of England, churches in Sydney, Australia, all over the place. I have rarely been invited to speak at a conference that's seeking to equip and empower the Black church. And I know that it's multicultural, and I get it.
But we love our people.
Yes, I'm so grateful for your vision, because I know that our people need this information. So I just wanted to say thank you for inviting me.
One of the things that the Lord really impressed upon me was live the rest of your life pushing and building. That is my assignment, to live the rest of my life to push and build. And my assignment and my responsibility is to bring people into the lives of people who I know that they will be beneficial to them, to push them and to build them. You guys got to hear me. For some of y'all, it'll be a sacrifice, but it'll be a sacrifice that you need to make, because it's a new day. It's a new time. And for those of y'all that are waiting on us to go back to norm, them days are over. It's a new day. It's a new season. And I'm trying to get you to rebrand yourself, rethink some things, restart yourself so that you can stay in the fight. Because if you don't do what God has called you to do, you're going to feel as if your life has no purpose and no meaning. Because you were created to pour. You were created to release. And anytime that you stop pouring, anytime that you stop building, anytime that you stop creating, your water stands still and you become stale water. So I want to keep you flowing. So that's the whole purpose of this conference. Pastors, leaders, business owner, women, ladies, Cheryl Brady, Pastor Cheryl Brady's going to be one of the speakers.
Yeah, that's my
I
friend.
love her.
She's awesome.
She is amazing. She's a beast. And I want you guys to be a part of that. All right. So how do you register? Go to pastorsoneconference.com. If you use the keyword Nona10, you can get the 10% discount to be a part of it. Make it happen. 19th and the 20th. It's going to be physical and virtual. If you can't get in the building, you can watch it online. We're going to leave it up for 7 days online so that you can go back and you can continue to watch it. All right. I appreciate you. I'm excited about you being a part of the conference, Nona.
I'm so honored. Thank you. I can't wait.
How many years you been married now?
17 years. I got married a month out of college. So everybody thought I was either crazy or pregnant, and I was neither.
And how many children do you have?
We have 2 sons. My oldest is 11. My youngest is 8.
Guys, do you hear this? She's doing all of this with an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old and a grown man, a husband.
Yes, a whole husband.
So this is you are definitely, God is getting the glory out of your life. All right, we appreciate you. We celebrate you, Nona, and we will see you live and in person on the 19th and the 20th. All right, God bless you. Thank you so much for taking time out on a Friday.
Thank you.
All right. So guys, make it happen. Go on right now and you can register. This is my honest truth with you. Sometimes I ask God, I don't want to waste oil. I don't want to waste oil. But I want God's people to get everything that He has for them. I need you all to be prepared. I want you to be prepared like the 5 wise virgins. And what am I doing? I'm making sure that we put enough oil in your lamp. Nona alone is worth it. Like her alone is worth it. And for many of you all, you feel as if you're standing still. You feel as if you're not moving, you're not progressing, you're not growing. What is my purpose? What is my destiny? She is key. And the other speakers are going to be so key. For if you are a pastor, I really want to push you to physically get to this city. You need to see a miracle. You need to walk through that building. You need to stand on a promise and know that God is no respecter of persons. So I really want to push as many of you all. For those of y'all, send this to your pastor. Tell them, Pastor, you should really think about and pray about going to this. Make it happen. If you can't get here physically, then make sure you're online to watch it. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll go more into detail about my trip to Africa on tomorrow for our Saturday night devotions. But I just wanted to lock in. And if we could put it on the screen one more time, Mitch, how do you register? Go to pastorsoneconference.com. Again, that's pastorsoneconference.com. Tonight only, if you key in the word under the code Nona, Nona 10, you'll get a 10% discount, but you need to make it happen. All right. I love you guys. Take our testimony, learn from it, and know that God is no respecter of persons. God bless you.